Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And welcome to Saturday's live edition of the DCEU Daily. And oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about. In a minute, I'm going to hold up my phone while we look together and view the delight that is this DC Universe promo. Wasn't it amazing? So we're going to watch the DC Universe promo together in a very amateur fashion by me holding this up like this shortly. Then we're going to look at some images, some screen caps from the promo as well. And we're going to analyze the hell out of it. You can tell me stuff. You can ask me questions and make your comments. And I'm going to read some articles as well. Gabriel's in on us, who's actually my nephew, says, hi, hello, Gabriel. Gets it all started. And let's see if anyone's actually going to come in from the gang today. So as I say, yesterday, this DC Universe promo came out and it was absolutely fantastic. Black Adam, Dr. Fate, a personal favorite of mine, Hawkman. Who else did we see? We saw Atom Smasher. We saw Aquaman's new look sitting on his throne as well, which was very, very awesome. So I'm going to continue with the show because no one's coming yet. I think that's still, I don't know. We've got a second viewer right now. I don't know who that is, but we're going to view this brilliant promo, then get into some screen caps, then read some articles, and really get into this because yesterday was a huge, delightful day to be a DCEU stan. It really was.
Who are you under there? What are you hiding?
My son dreamt of a better world. That's why he saved me. You can go to any timeline, any universe. Why fight to save this one? What could be greater than a king? A hero.
I just got goosebumps. If we don't stand up, no one will.
Come with us. There's a glorious world out there. Waiting for you. Are you in?
I certainly am. So that's awesome, but ruined by things going on my phone. So we'll probably check that out again. But it is a brilliant promo. John, hi there. Hello, John. How are you? Yes, it's awesome to be here on today's DCEU Daily. And I can't believe that that was ruined by all these people messaging and tweets coming through, which was disappointing. But yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. The Flash moment when the camera zooms into him, and we're going to talk about the Flash costume, and we're going to talk about how everyone is looking. To me, it's delightful to see the work of what these people have done, because these costumes look like they've come from the pages of DC Comics themselves. Really, really good. So we're going to check out these images because they're absolutely awesome. So if we go on here. So this is Atom Smasher, and doesn't he look awesome? Absolutely fantastic. He looks great. I don't know much about Atom Smasher, to be completely honest with everyone, but he looks great. And this is the man of the moment. This is Noah Centineo as Hawkman. Hawkman is looking great. Yes, Gabriel's in on us. Flash costume looks very beautiful. It does. It's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it looks good. And it looks comic book accurate. I wasn't sure what we were going to get, but it does. It's just delightful to see the hard work that's gone into this. And this is our Flash, the Flash we know and love, Ezra Miller. Doesn't the costume look absolutely fantastic? And this is the close-up they do on the DC Universe promo. It was a good idea to do that promo, and I'll tell you why. Because they don't want to litter about, 3 trailers of 3 different projects just before the Batman's out. of course, that DC Universe promo involved the Batman as well. That's interesting, isn't it? They're not keeping that separate in terms of the promotional material. As I say, very interesting. John, when do you think we will get a Flash trailer? Not for a while. I wouldn't expect the Flash trailer for a very long time. This is a film that's not even coming out till November. I think that we need to, each film will have its promotional material just before the film comes out. So, for example, once we're done with the Batman, or when that's in cinemas, we will probably get a Black Adam trailer, quite a few Black Adam trailers building up. When that's in cinemas, then we'll be heading for the Flash movie promotions. And then when the Flash is in cinemas, we'll be heading, of course, for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. And of course, that's not including Batgirl, who wasn't in that DC Universe promo, which is kind of interesting. But this was in all theatre. This was for movies that are being released in theatres. So it was a great day to be a DC fan yesterday. And that promo is enough to keep me going for a while, because it really did give us a great look at what these costumes are going to look like. These costumes are glorious. I keep on hearing Snyder fans saying, oh, Michael Wilkinson's the only one who can do DC costumes. Well, you've seen it. These DC costumes are amazing. Congratulations to Andy Muschietti, who's been a big reader of DC Comics all his life. He spreads those kind of cameos for his love of DC in his previous movies as well. So as I say, if you're a DC fan, if you're a DC live action fan, you were eating well yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. So exciting. And there's one more, of course. This is, what's his bloody name now? I forgot. But yeah, he's amazing. Gabriel's in on us. Hi, Uncle. Hi, Gabriel. Yeah, my nephews and nieces are watching the video today, so mind your language. But yes, this is Dr. Fate. How could I forget Dr. Fate's name? Dr. Fate has been a favourite of mine since I saw him on Smallville, and he looks absolutely fantastic. The helmet looks glorious. The costume looks glorious. And we saw a sneak peek of Pierce Brosnan's performance as Dr. Fate without the helmet on, talking to the Rock's Black Adam and maybe asking him to go with them. Now, we know something's going to happen to stop Dr. Fate stopping Black Adam joining the JSA, because we know he's going to be abducted by James Gunn's good wife, all in good name of fiction. She's not really going to abduct him in real life. But yeah, very exciting. As I say, the promo was great, so exciting. All the screen grabs we saw, it looks great. And we also, I think, is it Atom Smasher's spaceship as well? That looks great as well. And so we're going to go and read some articles. What I will do, I will go back to that promo because it was interrupted by all those alerts I was getting. And let's hope that doesn't happen again. Right, where are we? Has it gone? Has it gone? Let's have a look for it. Right, let's go.
Who are you under there? What are you hiding?
My son dreamt of a better world. That's why he saved me. You can go to any timeline, any universe. I'd fight to save this one. What could be greater than a king? A hero.
I just got goosebumps. If we don't stand up, no one will.
Come with us. There's a glorious world out there, waiting for you. Are you in?
I think all the same people are going to be in, Barry Allen, because that was a sensational thing to happen yesterday. And we were wondering what we were going to get from this over 1 minute promo. it was great. As I say, a great look at how these characters are going to look like in their costumes. You know, it looks like the Ann Sarnoff, Jim Lee, Walter Hamada, everyone has done their homework to rebuild the DCEU, the DC live action universe. And from what we see from this promo, it's very good. And it did seem to silence the propaganda merchants for now, but I'm sure they're looking deeply at what was released yesterday to have some hot takes. It's not going to work. What we saw yesterday was proof that they know exactly what they're doing. Aquaman Hikau, did the Flash do a test screening? One of my sources did tell me that is the case, but I don't know if that information is now real. But I did hear some feedback about a test screening. It was very, very positive, and I was fed a lot of things, but I don't know if it's real. So I'm going to have to see if there's any substance to that. Dewan Cartridge, am I right that everything will be canon after the Flash movie? Love your content. Thank you. Yes. How this is going to work, Dewan, is that anything you've ever seen in DC live action, from Superman the movie to the Wonder Woman television series, anything, Superman Returns, everything is all going to be canon. I don't think Batman Forever and Batman and Robin are included in that, but basically everything is going to be canon. They're going to make the multiverse the DC extended universe now. So everything is going to be part of the same movie universe in separate worlds. This is what Flashpoint is going to do. This is very exciting. We know very little about how this movie is going to go about doing this, but I think this is a great idea. I don't think it's cheap. I don't think it's cheating. I think it's exciting. We attempted to have a DCEU. It worked and it didn't work, but now we must move forward, bring in these films that have already been made, most of them, into this new exciting world. Daniel Leach looks good. It certainly does, Daniel. Gabriel's in on us. Looks lovely. Keep it up. Thank you, Gabriel. Gabriel's biased, of course, because he's my nephew. So let's go to these articles. Because as I say, it was amazing. The feel-good factor on Twitter yesterday. It was a feeling of pride to be a DC fan yesterday, wasn't it? And I'm still getting that feeling now. And so we go to Twitter, because that's where I've got my articles. And we're going to look at this. So Michael Keaton's Batman speaks in new The Flash movie footage. Michael Keaton's Batman speaks in new footage from The Flash, which also reveals Barry Allen's mission as well as new costume features. This is by Paul Shurey, great journalist of Screen Rant. Michael Keaton's Batman speaks in the new Flash DC movie trailer, starring Ezra Miller as the titular hero. Barry Allen, The Flash, the solo film, also stars Kiersey Clements, Ron Livingston, Maribel Verdú, as well as a host of new and returning DC heroes. Sasha Calle will play the latest incarnation of Supergirl, while Boba Fett's Tamara Morrison will return as Tom... What? Oh, yeah. You're not talking about The Flash anymore. He's going to be in Aquaman. What are you talking about? As Aquaman's father, but he may be in the Flash movie as well. Who knows? As well as Man of Steel's Anta Troy and Michael Shannon, presumably as their characters from the 2013 films. Yeah, basically, this is a badly written article by a very good journalist at this point. So let's get these details right. Yes, Michael Shannon and the Faora actress are in the Flash movie. They're going to change what happened in Man of Steel. Zod's neck won't be broken by Superman this time, and they'll both end up in the Phantom Zone, meaning they'll be around to fight another day. Directed by Andy Muschietti with a script by Christina Hodson, Birds of Prey, The Flash will also feature two returning Batmen, including Michael Keaton's version from Tim Burton's 89 Batman and 1992 Batman Returns. Ben Affleck will also reprise his version of the character, which he played in Zack Snyder's Batman vs. Superman. It's Dawn of Justice. The Justice League. The actor has implied that this will be his last time playing the character, while Keaton is set up to return for more films, including currently filming Batgirl with Leslie Grace. In a new DC movie trailer via WB featuring footage from the Batman, Black Adam, The Flash, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, The Flash is seen attempting to save his mother, while voiceover Michael Keaton's Batman is playing underneath. Also seen in the footage is Barry Allen flipping a switch in what appears to be the Batcave, as well as a number of looks at his new suit, including the helmet feature that has retractable visors on the eye slits, which is a first for the live action character. Now, why are the the visor and the eye slits very important. Well, if you're traveling through those speeds, you need to be protected, even as a speedster. This makes physical and dynamic sense. So I like that. The Flash is expected to set up the DCEU's multiverse, which is similar to what Marvel did with Spider-Man No Way Home. This will allow multiple previous and current character, actors, settings, etc. to interact and coexist, giving filmmakers the ability to utilize those assets within their movies, which is very exciting, of course. So where are we? Right. Aquaman Hikael, what do you think of the Flash director, Andy? I like him. Look, he's done not many films. I've liked what I've seen of him, but he understands DC. He's a big fan. He's been reading the comics all his life. So I have great trust. And everything we've seen from The Flash is very exciting, including the Instagram video when he was auditioning Sasha Calle as Supergirl. So I'm very impressed by him. Ronnie Dodge, hey Mick, that shot of Barry is so badass with the lenses. It's amazing. I was compelled by that, Ronnie, yesterday. Amazing. All the costumes look beautiful. Duane Quattro, one thing I want to ask you is why people and critics hate DC movies so much. Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder's Justice League are so underrated. I think Zack Snyder's Justice League got a lot more love than the other Zack Snyder projects. Man of Steel was certainly controversial. I love it. BVS, I love it, but it was, of course, somewhat controversial. I just think Zack Snyder's a deconstructor, and that can trigger some people. I don't think it's that people hate DC, but that kind of gave DC a kind of a reputation. Daniel Leach, this will be very interesting. Ronnie Dodge, he needs to protect his eyes. Exactly. Keaton's return as Batman in The Flash is something that fans are greatly anticipating, especially since he'll be playing a major role in the future of the DCEU. While his full reveal in costume has yet to come, there have been plenty of teasers to build the hype, including set pics from Batgirl that show his Batman with a Robin, which is very exciting, isn't it? That's something else they're getting right. A first for that universe, an older, wiser, and more seasoned Batman embodied by Keaton. Feels like the perfect guiding light for the DCEU as it progresses into its next evolution. And this latest trailer shows a lot of promise for 2022. The Flash races into theaters in November. This is very interesting as far as I'm concerned, and I'm just going to find my next article. We'll go to that. But yeah, this is interesting because someone pointed it out on my live yesterday. At the moment, kind of canonically, the DCEU is a bit of a mess. BVS, Man of Steel, make perfect sense. One's the continuation of the other. The first Suicide Squad is a continuation of those films. Wonder Woman is a continuation of those films. Justice League is a continuation of those films. But the movie is a mess and should never have happened. And then you go to Aquaman, a continuation. You know, it's all set in the same world. Makes perfect sense. Shazam, again, makes perfect sense because we've got loads of cameos from BVS and MOS in that film. And then you get things like Birds of Prey. Again, makes perfect sense. Wonder Woman 84 is a prequel movie, but it's all part of that universe. It's only when Zack Snyder's Justice League comes out and people say, well, what's canon now? And, you know, at this moment in time, I wouldn't say you could call Zack Snyder's Justice League canon to those other movies, especially when you think about Amber Heard's Mira with such a well-refined English accent, which we didn't see in Justice League and the Aquaman movie as well. So Flashpoint will fix all of that. Ronnie Dodge, I love the new suit is based off Injustice and the New 52, and love the fact it has veins like the Speed Force is flying through him. Yeah, very comic book accurate and very exciting, Ronnie. It looks great. As I said earlier, they are doing their homework. This is evidence that they know exactly what they're doing. Duane Cartry, what do you think of the Flash movie if there had been no mess by WB with Cyborg? Henry Cavill, it could have been just like the Flashpoint Paradox movie, but still the movie has great potential. Yeah, the original take was going to be a faithful take on Flashpoint, but that's still a multiversal strategy, and that's still a Flashpoint movie. I'm assuming that movie would have come at the end of Zack's vision and Zack's arc. He was planning on creating his own Flashpoint to give a new creative a chance to do something new after he was finished with the DCEU. That would have been very exciting. But this movie has a lot of potential. It's going to rewrite the DCEU, but anything they rewrite within the canon the characters in that world will notice strange things going on, that things are different. I think that's a very intelligent way to go at it by Walter Hamada and Jim Lee and Ann Sarnoff. Dwan Cartry, Ronnie Dodge, I agree. Indigo Badder, what do you think about the first look at the GSA? Look, I've been excited about their inclusion again from the very beginning, and it was genius. Walter Hamada, The Rock, his director, his people, bringing in the JSA is genius. Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher. These are brilliant inclusions. It's very exciting. They look absolutely amazing, especially Dr. Fate and Hawkman. John, I love Man of Steel, but I did not like BVS yet. I think a lot of people feel that way. I love both movies, but I understand why some people don't. And I think it's important to understand other people's perspectives, isn't it? Right, our next article on today's DCEU Daily Live. Actually, we'll just read this. Ronnie Dodge, can I say, I love the look of Hawkman and the GOAT, Dr. Fate. So badass. Dr. Fate would make mincemeat out of Strange. Yeah, look, Dr. Fate is a lot more powerful than Doctor Strange. And what I love about Dr. Fate, if you read the comics, if you saw what they did with him on Smallville, is the helmet affects him. It drives him insane. And with all the commentary on mental health today and people being a lot more braver about coming forward about their mental illness struggles, I think that element of Dr. Fate, I hope they deal with that, because Pierce Brosnan is a great actor, one of my favorite James Bond. I mean, Pierce actually turned down Kevin Feige in the MCU to do this. So I don't know if anyone knew that, but that's true. So I think it's amazing. It's so exciting. I think this is a great direction to go in. And these films, the promo of these films we saw yesterday, look amazing. Some people talking about color palettes. No, it can't all be dark like the Batman or what Snyder did. You need to attract the central audience like those kind of color palettes. It's perfectly fine. In Indigo Badder, I think The Rock is going to do everything in his hands to have a face-off with Superman Henry Cavill. There is a picture of some lightning, but we can't see the person he's throwing lightning on. Could that be Cavill's Superman? Who knows? Where are we? Hunter Iggy. No, hang on. Where are we? Ronnie Dodge. Pierce Brosnan is just the perfect casting. It's like Robert Downey Jr. I think so. I think it's amazing. I think that Robert Downey Jr. is actually coming to the DCEU. You heard it here first. Ryan Price, it's the Batman, the best DC movie ever made. Look, it's a very good film, but I love a lot of DC movies. I think it's epic. It's amazing. I'm not going to stand there and say it's the best of the best of the best, especially when it's only just out there right now. It's not even been released yet, but it's very, very good. Hunter Iggy, what if David Zaslav made Zack Snyderverse the main timeline if the Flash movie flops? I don't think that will happen. If Zack does get restored, he'll be in a little pocket universe. He won't be running things again. And if the multiverse strategy was to fail, I think they would just embrace Matt Reeves' Earth 2. So I don't think the failure of the multiverse strategy gives Zack an in to run everything. I think that's what Zack would like, but it isn't going to happen. Dwan Cartry, there is a rumor that Dome member of Black Adam movie are getting their own project like Dr. Fate or Hawkman, and the Penguin and Gotham Police show from Batman show. DC's expanding at a good pace. Yeah, there's so many plans, so many things to come, and I certainly think our end of it, and I mean, obviously, there's all these films to come out. People need to experience them, judge for themselves. But it's looking very exciting. And I think the DCEU is going to own 2022, not the MCU. There's only one exciting project from the MCU this year, as far as I'm concerned, and that's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Ronnie Dodge, I love the yellow-orange tinge for Black Adam as it's set in Egypt and it's a desert. Exactly. Makes perfect sense. It's stunning. Ryan Price, thumbs up. Thumbs up to you as well. Ronnie Dodge, if the Flash flops, very unlikely, will they probably will start again? Yeah, there's lots of things they could do if it flops. I can't see it flopping. I don't think any DC project's going to flop this year. Of course, the hot takers will say anything that doesn't make a certain amount of money is a flop. Let them carry on. They got very excited that Suicide Squad didn't do very well in theatres, did very well on HBO Max, and of course we got Peacemaker now. Very exciting. And they could start again, but I think they'll just embrace Matt Reeves' universe because that's going to make a lot of money. Inigo Badder, Homelander would be a great reverse Flash. He would. I don't know. He's a good actor. I don't think they're going to go that direction. I think they're going a very different direction with Reverse Flash. It'll be interesting. Dwan Cartry, what about your health? Did you recover? Yes, thank you. My COVID is all cleared up. So just all the other aches and pains that I always have as a 49-year-old geezer. So thank you for asking about that. Dr. Fate, Hawkman and Justice Society first look in DC movie trailer. New footage from Black Adam shows Dr. Fate and the Justice Society of America in the upcoming 2022 DCEU movie starring Dwayne Johnson. Where are we? Right. Ronnie Dodge. I have seen BSL on Twitter saying that the DCEU is pretty much having great movies this year. Yeah, listen. Look, you can see how great they are. You can see, I mean, it was great to see the Batman mixed in with the other footage, with everything about it being a separate entity. I think one day in the future, there is going to be a crossover there for sure. So keep your eyes open for that. This is by Cooper Hood of Screen Rant. New footage from Black Adam introduces Dr. Fate and the Justice Society of America. Pac-Man, any new info from the Flash test screening? I have no info that I'm unwilling to part with right now. There's reasons for that. I've heard a lot of stuff about the Flash movie. But I can't actually say if it's true or fact, so I'd keep that to myself for a while. John, is there any news on the next James Bond? Well, basically, they said this year of 2022, they'd start looking into it. Look, I could go on about James Bond all day. I think they've got it wrong. I think there should be James Bond streaming shows. Now, Amazon own it. I think there should be a young James Bond prequel, and the new film should continue off of that in the present day. And I think they really need to forget the pit. Look, I reckon the Daniel Craig era wasn't great. I like Casino Royale. I think it's amazing. Skyfall's okay, but there were too many other duds in that franchise. They need to go back to the original continuity. I think they've got a lot of problems with James Bond, and I know it made a hell of a lot of money. Vengeance, what do you think about the cameo of Harcourt character from the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker in the Black Adam movie? What's she going to do according to you? Well, this is what I've heard. I've heard she comes in with members of Task Force X and abducts Black Adam. For me, my theory here is there's an upcoming threat where they need superpowered heroes to join a team. So that's very exciting. I think that's great. And obviously, James Gunn is working very closely with Walter Hamada and Sarnoff and Jim Lee. It's going very well. The plans are looking amazing. Ronnie Dodge, I'm just so excited to see Ezra under a different director like Andy. Yet Andy Muschietti is a very different beast, but he understands DC Comics as well as Zack Snyder does. And that's very important. New footage from Black Adam provides and introduces Dr. Fate and the Justice Society of America. The DC Extended Universe is set to have its biggest year yet in 2022 as Black Adam, The Flash, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom hit theaters. Alongside Matt Reeves, the Batman, Dwayne Johnson debuts in Black Adam is among the most anticipated moments of DC fans, as The Rock has been attached to play the DC anti-hero for over a decade. While he was originally meant to debut as the villain in Shazam, Warner Brothers and DC Films selected to put Johnson at the forefront of a solo movie instead. Who wouldn't want to do that? It makes more sense, right? Dwan Khatri, it hurts the fan that DC has so much potential but still hasn't kicked off. But at the end of the year, I think it will change. Yes, I think the perception will be different. Ryan Price, how did you get the opportunity to see the Batman? I was expecting the film to get a PG-13 here in the UK, but now it's 15 age rating. I have extremely high. This is the violent, scary horror. Well, you know what? The Batman is a lot of different things. And I know most of you know how test screenings work. You apply to what screening, you get lucky, or you get, that's how I went about it. So there's a lot of horror element to the movie. There's a softer sector to this movie. Well, this film has a big kind of narrative of a love story as well. So it's a very exciting, groundbreaking movie. Ronnie Dodge, I feel like there's a massive villain in Black Adam, but in the trailer, it feels like he's reluctant to join the JSA to help them. I think you're right. Indigo Badder, I've heard that in the last episode of Peacemaker, there's going to be a huge cameo. Who do you think it could be? Could be the cameo? This is very, very interesting. Who it could be? It could be Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, who is, of course, very, very ambitious, and she's very busy right now with a Barbie movie. Good luck with that, Margot. So, yeah, it could be Harley Quinn, but of course, it could be a shock reveal of Rick Flag. That's what I'm putting my money on, because surely we're not going to get Cavill's Superman or a new Superman. My theory is actually Peacemaker, and all the content this year is set after Flashpoint. Very interesting. John, Tom Hardy or Henry Cavill should be the next Bond. There's lots of options for them out there. Even if they picked an unknown, it wouldn't be a bad decision. Pac-Man, Black Adam looks really promising. The footage really shows the hard work they put into it. Yeah, that's right, Pac-Man. That's exactly what I thought when I saw this promo and these, screen caps yesterday. They've really looked at the comics for inspiration. They haven't just said, here you are. What we saw yesterday proves that they're not messing about. They're desperate for this to be successful now, because jettisoning Snyder was a big decision. And where do they go from there? The only way they could go is either start again or enact Flashpoint to reboot the franchise. And it's going to be very, very interesting how they go about doing that. Ronnie Dodge, I feel like it could be Aquaman in Peacemaker. I mean, I love to see Peacemaker to say that to Arthur's face. Yes, actually, that could be something. The characters he's mentioned could all turn up at the end of the movie. Maybe they're going to need those characters' help in the future with the butterflies. Who knows? Daniel Leach, DC looks in better shape with the MCU floundering. Now is the chance for DC to overtake Marvel in terms of popularity. Well, you know what? It's going to be hard work to take them over. They have the customer, they have the consumer confidence, even if when they're producing rubbish. But yeah, DC will get back. I think it's going to take time, but I think there's an opportunity here because I think they've got the right people running things now. You can't have a movie director running a franchise with different comic book characters in it. It's different with Raimi. He was just dealing with Spider-Man, and Nolan with Batman. But it's a lot to ask one director. And when the director is a deconstructor and looks at things very differently, it's not going to work out as a mainstream business. And that's what these studios want from these projects. Balconator, I'm kind of confused on Peacemaker. Batman is mentioned that he doesn't kill, which is false. Both Ben Affleck's Batman and Keaton kill. So could there be another Batman, or could they be talking about Robert Pattinson's Batman, who definitely doesn't kill? Terry Young, how many Batman films do you think Pattinson will be up for doing? I think he's involved in the spin-offs. I think he's involved in he's already spoken about wanting to doing a trilogy. But I think this guy's going to be Batman for many years to come. Hishim Casey, does the Batman have a good script? Absolutely fantastic. It's watertight, it's airtight, it's brilliant. Dwan Carby, don't you think Batgirl should have been on theatre and on HBO Max after 30 to 45 days? Yes. I'm not happy that Batgirl is on HBO Max. This is a huge movie. She's a huge character. She's part of the Batman family, and I'm still hoping that she gets a theatrical release. Pac-Man, I thought Flash would appear in the Peacemaker, especially after Ezra posted that thing about the KKK. You never know. Maybe that was a hint. Maybe he was dropping us a few clues, Pac-Man. Inigo Bad, I hope we can see a Green Arrow movie soon related to Matt Reeves' universe. Me too. Ronnie Dodge, I saw some Marvel fans trying to say that Cyclone's costume was a copy of Cersei from Eternals. Make me laugh. Listen, I think apart from them both being green, right, if that's who you're talking about, I mean, I could go on about Captain America Civil War being a ripoff of Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice. We can talk shit all day. Let the hot takers do their thing. John, Batman Forever, the Schumacher cut is trending on Twitter. That's beautiful because I'd love to see that version. And what a great kind of parting gift for Joel Schumacher. Ryan Price, does Catwoman get some bat dingus? Oh, no comment. Backinator. I heard a DCEU character will appear on the finale of Peacemaker. Who could it be? Could be absolutely anyone. Could be Harley Quinn. Could be Rick Flag. Could be someone grade A. We'll have to wait and see. Hunter Icky, when will we get we get Hulk Girl in the DCEU. She could be a surprise in the Black Adam movie. Harry Selick, I have a feeling Barry Coogan is playing someone that's going to be a plot twist, but not Joker. Not long now. Ronnie Dodge, do you think we will get another fandom this year? Probably will be the Flash focused. I would expect them to do a DC fandom every year. You know, they're going to have to start revealing the full slate for 2023. So right now, this is what we know. We know that most probably it's going to be Green Lantern Corps on HBO Max, Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and we know it's Blue Beetle as well. So that's about 3 DC projects, but surely there's going to be more announced. Very, very interesting. Who knows? They may even delay Batgirl for movie theaters for next year as well. So that'd be a great year. And I expect the DC fandom, Ronnie, yeah. Vengeance. We actually saw Christian Bale, Bruce Wayne's Wayne Enterprises logo in one scene of the Peacemaker. What do you think it means? It means we're in the multiverse. It means that buildings, characters those characters could all be part of the central universe now. That's what it means. Everything is canon now because I believe all these projects, including Peacemaker, are set after the Flashpoint. So that's a very interesting spot from you. And thank you for letting me know because I haven't watched Peacemaker yet and I can't wait to because it's not available here. Indigo Badder, could Spectre appear in Black Adam? Anything's possible. Ronnie Dodge, I read a leak to Shazam Fury of the Gods of Diana Roll. Don't know if it's true. Let me know what it is because I haven't heard anything. I have a theory. Duane Cartry, there may not have that much DC movies in 2023 like 2022 because of the merger happening and the time it is consumed by a superhero movie. Well, listen, we've definitely got Fury of the Gods and Blue Beetle next year releasing in theaters. That's 2 movies. And we also have Green Lantern, should be releasing on HBO Max. It could only be that, but I'd be very surprised if they were the only projects. And if they haven't got anything rolling out because they're not sure what Discovery want to do, they could make Batgirl a theatrical release next year. That would be 3 DCEU movies, not as, I suppose, epic ones as this year, but still enough to let us chew on until they decide what they want to do. Very interesting. We'll see. Baconator, I hope we get to see the Batman who laughs live action in the future. That would be awesome. Lots of stuff to come. Ryan Price, one of the best Batman fight scenes was Batman warehouse scene in Superman versus Batman. How does this compare to the action scenes in the new Batman camera angles, etc.? Well, the action sequences in the Batman are very different to what Zack Snyder did. It's like the Batmobile chase we see in BVS. Very, very different to, for example, the clip that you've all seen of the new Batmobile with Batman going after Oz the Penguin, aka Oswald Cobblepot. So it's just different styles. Snyder did it more intensely. Now, actually, Reeves' action sequences are very, very intense as well, but in a very different manner. Ronnie Dodge, apparently Bill gets killed by the sisters. And then Billy gets killed by the sisters, and then Diana takes him to the wizard to bring him back. And apparently they have a convention. They play an important role in the movie. Yeah, my theory is that Diana is there for the young woman who's part of these evil sisters, and she's got a big future with Wonder Woman. Maybe Wonder Woman takes her to train her as her ward or something along those lines. Hunter Iggy, do you think we will get 3 different Justice League teams in one timeline? I think we'll get a multiversal Justice League. I'm not sure about 3 different, but anything's possible, isn't it? Vengeance, who do you think should play the character of John Constantine in the upcoming Jail Dark show, which is taking forever? Well, I think it's pretty obvious that we're getting an actor of color to play Constantine in that role. And then, I mean, you could take your pick. I mean, I think, what's his name? The guy who played Bloodsport, I forgot, Idris Elba. He would be a great Constantine, actually. And, of course, because it's a multiversal strategy now, you can do that. Ronnie Dodge, maybe, yeah, Dinah takes her back to Themyscira in Shazam. I think that's what Wonder Woman's role's about. She probably just turns up at the end. Duane Cartry, as you have watched the Batman, do you think the fans should be worried about the controversy thing? No, Absolutely not. I mean, I don't know what they're really talking about in terms of controversy. There's basically, this film is very faithful to the rules that the comic books have always set up. One of the big ones, of course, that Batman shouldn't kill. I don't think this is a controversial movie. I mean, maybe the horror movie element may be controversial to some, but listen, look, I can't see people hating on this movie. I just don't think it's possible. Baconator, and ending like Final Crisis could be nice. Yeah, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? And who knows? As I say, anything is possible. The first look at Black Adam arrived during DC Fandom 2021. As the footage showed glimpses of the character's origin and his reawakening in the modern day. One of the movie's elements that weren't featured in this footage, though, was the inclusion of the Justice Society of America. The new DCEU superhero team with Atom Smasher Noah Centineo, Dr. Fate Piers Brosnan, Hawkman Aldis Hodge, and Cyclone Quintessa Swindell. Details on their roles in the movie are unclear, but they seem to factor heavily into the present setting of Black Adam. I reckon they're members of the Legion and they've time traveled. So what's going on here? Hunter Iggy, remember in Justice League, the cartoon show, the Justice League meet Justice Guild of America? Do you think we will get them in the DCEU? I think that it's very possible to meet different versions. If we're meeting the Justice Society, who I think are members of the Legion, and that's how they're in the present day, I can't see how else they're there. So it's very possible. Ronnie Dodge, I feel like we will get a full Black Adam trailer beginning of March. Yes, I think once the Batman is in theaters, it could even tag on to that movie. So that's very exciting because you don't want to be promoting two films at the same time. So once the Batman's in cinemas, then you can, move full steam ahead with Black Adam, which is very exciting. So where are we? The first look at Black Adam arrived during DC Fandom 2021 as the footage showed glimpses of the character's origin and his reawakening in the modern day. One of the movie's elements that weren't featured in this footage. Oh, no, I've read all that, haven't I? So, as part of the DCEU 2022 trailer released by Warner Brothers, new Black Adam footage provides a better look at the movie. This includes showing teasers of Black Adam's origin as the savior of the fictional country of Kahndaq and the role his son played. But the highlight for Black Adam's new footage is the live-action debut of the DCEU's Justice Society. The first looks at each member in costume and in action is featured in the exciting trailer, which can be seen below. So Black Adam's son, I think, is going to play a bigger role in that movie than they're giving us the impression he is. Bigger than just releasing Black Adam. Ryan Price, do you believe an Oscar is deserved for any of the Batman cast? If so, who was you most impressed with? I was very impressed with Paul Dano as Ad Nashton, aka the Riddler. I thought he was beyond what Ledger did in The Dark Knight. I thought he was amazing. I thought Rob Pattinson was amazing, but the whole cast did a stellar job. Hishman Kissy, I was so excited when I learned that the cinematographer for Dune also worked on the Batman. Having seen the film, how do you think the film looks? Oh, the film is as stunning looking as it is compelling in its narrative. It's really directed in a formidable, unique, different way. You can certainly tell that the cinematography is very similar to what we saw in Dune, which is interesting, really, because Dune is a high concept special effects kind of piece, isn't it? Where the Batman is set in our modern world. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. Ronnie Dodge, which is also why I feel like it will be early July before we get a Flash movie trailer, before Black Adam comes out end of that month. Yeah, around that time. I think it will be when Black Adam is actually in cinemas. Dewan Khatri, I also forgot DC League of Super Pets is also a 2023 release. Yeah, so obviously not as, that's not really going to keep people that excited, but it'll be great for families and stuff to go and see. At Baconator, where do you rank the Batman movie on comic book live action movies, including Marvel? Well, listen, there's no Marvel movie that's anywhere near the Batman, so we need to stop messing about. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is a franchise with chapters, and that's great. Disney make money, WB make art. It's as simple as that. So, Marvel can't come anywhere near the greatest DC movies ever made. And maybe I'm biased, but I don't think that's the case. The great DC movies are great art. It's as simple as that. In terms of where the Batman comes, in terms of the great DC movies, well, look, it's very difficult right now to kind of tell you, oh, it's above this one, it's above that one. I think this is a movie this is Superman, the movie level. This is the way it is. People are going to say this is how Batman should be on the big screen. Ronnie Dodge, maybe his son gets killed instead of Tef Adam, and that's why he goes all anti-hero and dark. That is a very, very good point, Ronnie. That could be what actually happens, and that would be amazing. King Cumber 3R. Does the Batman justify 3 hours? Should it have been longer, short, or was it fine as it was? Yeah, look, the time, it doesn't feel like a long movie. It is under 3 hours, just about under, around 2 hours and 45 minutes, around that time. It doesn't feel too long. Listen, I'm a nerd. I'd sit there watching a Batman movie for 8 fucking hours, but that's not possible. So no, it doesn't need to be longer. It is the right length, but you don't feel the time. There's no question about that. Indigo Badder, I think that Aquaman 2 needs to change its release date because it's the same as Avatar 2. This is a conversation we've had on this channel before. Basically, now they're promoting these films as, you know, as coming this year. That movie will not be moved. I don't think that movie is going to be moved. I think it's coming out then. And I think it needs to. They need it after the Flash movie for narrative reasons as well. And I don't think, you know, everyone said Aquaman would flop going after, what was it, that Disney movie 2 years ago, and it didn't. Aquaman made over $1 billion. I don't think DC and Aquaman have to be scared of James Cameron and the sequel people have been waiting for years and years and years. A sequel of a very overrated movie. Dwan Cartry, should a 4 or 5 hour cut be released on HBO Max as they have tested them? Well, that would be absolutely fantastic. It wouldn't surprise me if that happens in the future. Dwan Cartry of the Batman. Ronnie Dodge, can I just say I can't wait for the kill count in Black Adam. He's going to be brutal as hell, yeah. It's going to be a dark movie. It's going to be some fun in it as well. But yeah, he's going to kill some people. Harry Selick, is there a post-credit scene? I didn't see a post-credit scene, but they are saying there's a surprise after the credits. I didn't see this surprise, but I'm hearing something could happen. So stay and watch the Batman till the very end of the credits. Harry Selick. Is there a post-credit scene? I've read that. Ronnie Dodge, Aquaman versus Bumblebee and Mary Poppins and still made $1 billion. Yeah. Aquaman was, you know, people like John Campier, who knows jack shit about jack shit, whoever jack shit is, got that wrong, didn't he? Typical anti-DCEU sentiment. And Shazam was amazing. No, Aquaman was amazing to make over $1 billion coming after Justice League. That film didn't succeed. They would have started again. Ryan Price, does the Batman movie open doors for a Catwoman movie? Is her involvement as big as the trailers give away? She's a very big, important part of the movie, and she's got a big future in this universe. Thanks to this new Black Adam footage, DC fans finally have the opportunity to see the Justice Society in action like never before. The trailer only offers brief looks at each of the characters, but they each get a moment to shine. Atom Smasher's giant form as he runs through a city offers a glimpse of how he'll change the scale of the movie. Right, what we got here? Falcone, does Robert Batman really have a big difference between all of the other live-action Batmans? Yeah, look, he's very, very different. This is a man who is on a mission. This is a man who is obsessed, who is deeply tormented to seeing his parents being killed as a young boy. This is a very different Batman and Bruce Wayne. This is a very different movie. Ronnie Dodge, no ways Black Panther is making its November date as it's still filming. So I think The Flash will have November. I don't think anything's moving, Ronnie, or anyone else. I think everything's staying the same. I think one thing with Sarnoff's got balls of solid rock, and I think she isn't going to move anything. Hishel Casey, does the Batman not being an origin story hurt the movie in any way? No, and I'll tell you why. Because that origin story is the emotional basis for everything that Rob's Batman and Bruce Wayne is doing. So that origin story is the basis for everything, but the film isn't an origin movie. It's a clever way of saying, right, we're going to keep on going on about the origin, but we're not going to start off with that origin story, so it doesn't hurt it one little bit. Hawkman is shown standing in the street with rubble all around, teasing a JSA fight that must have occurred. Dr. Fate's incredible powers aren't featured yet, but he's shown trying to recruit Black Adam to their cause. Similarly, Cyclone's powers are not on display at this point in the marketing. Cyclone's powers are going to look amazing, I'm sure of it. With several months to go, where are we? Ronnie Dodge, to be honest, we have seen the origin story so many times. I'm glad they're going different way. I don't mind seeing the origin story again and again. It's such a powerful origin story. I know it bothers some people, but I think he made the right decision doing it this way. Duane Cartry, there's a high probability people like Walter Hamada and Sonoff will be forced to leave after the merger. Well, it's a very interesting situation, but let me tell you something, Duane. Money talks and bullshit walks. In other words, if these films do well, these people aren't going anywhere. These people will be rewarded. Or they could continue with it and still get rid of them. I don't know if Anne Sarnoff and Walter are going to walk. It's a very interesting situation. But I think if you're someone like David Zaslav, and I think even an idiot like me can see that Anne Sarnoff, Jim Lee, and Walter Hamada are doing a very, very good job. And I think David Zaslav wouldn't come in to make any quick decisions. So don't expect anything quick to happen. Denai Ali, would you say Patterson is the definitive and most accurate on-screen Batman? Yes, he's the comic book Batman. There's never been a true comic book version of Batman before. It's different visionaries' ideas. This Batman is not necessarily just it's not just a case of looking like Batman. It's a case of acting like Batman and the greatest detective. And that's the whole point, isn't it? Ronnie Dodge, the shot of Black Adam talking about his son, you can see he's talking to Hawkman in the background. That's correct. Patman, how is the BGM and score in the Batman and their placements in the movie? I don't know what the BGM is, but the score is beautiful. Yes, I did watch a version with the score in it, and Michael Giacchino is probably just delivered his best motion picture score. His best music for me is in Lost Season 1. That's compelling music. But this music, he's got emotional elements. He's got dark horror elements. So Michael has outdone himself this time. Terry Young, if Matt Reeves does introduce Harley Quinn into his universe, I'd love to see a more sadistic and psychotic version of the character to match his version of the Joker, different to Margot Robbie. I'm kind of bored of Margot Robbie's Harley. She's too lightweight now. She's not dark enough for me. Because she's a woman, she has to be a hero rather than villain, and she doesn't need the Joker and shit like that. So I'd be glad to have Todd Phillips doing a version and Matt Reeves doing a version as well. It looks like Margot's gone totally feminist mad anyway with this Barbie movie. So I wouldn't mind if she just gets involved with James Gunn. That's fine. But I think we do need better versions of that character. Ryan Price, what other characters do you feel Reeves could explore in this NE universe that's been created? And who could you love to see come to be the? Let me say that I'm not reading properly, am I? Universes that's been created, and who would you love to see come to the big screen that hasn't yet been done before? Well, there's so many great characters that Reeves could bring in. As I said yesterday, Mr. Freeze would be great. Now, Scarecrow has been done before, but I think there's a great version of Scarecrow out there for live action as well. And there's a character, I forgot his name now, but there's another character I would say, but there's so many. I mean, there's a character that has been done before that Matt Reeves could do justice with, and that's Batwoman. And I'm not talking about the SJW Batwoman. In the previous older Batwoman comics, she was awesome. Someone adapts those babies, we could have a great live action Batwoman. But there's so many characters that Matt Reeves could bring to live action, couldn't he? There's so many more villains, and I mean, it's interesting that he's Riddler, but it's not the Riddler that we know. This is such a huge, different take to Riddler. Daniele Ali, the Snyder agenda merchants are trying their best to hate these new DC movies, lol. Yes, it's very funny. I think they were silenced yesterday. I think even they was shocked to their very core. They've been telling us that Walter and Anne and Jim don't know what they're doing. But clearly the whole world now knows this is a new era of DC, and these people know exactly what they're doing. So there. Anyway, Ronnie Dodge, I think the test screening said that the Black Adam action is like Man of Steel meets Infinity War. Yep, I've heard the same, that the actual action is sensational. I think it's about a 2-hour movie, so it's not as long as Matt Reeves' The Batman or Zack Snyder's Justice League, but the movie, I think, will do what it's supposed to do. Gabriel's in on us. When do we see Shazam trailer if it's not out already? Gabriel, there is no Shazam trailer coming soon because it's not out till next year. I would look out for DC Fandom this October whenever they do it for that. So later this year, about October, I think. Baconator, I really want the Bat family, especially the Red Hood, appear on the Matt Reeves universe. I think he's going to feed us very well, but it's going to take time to get this stuff. But I'm sure, Baconator, we will get it. Hunter Icky, or do you think we will get Legion for superheroes in the DCEU? The Legion of Superheroes are a must. Another great achievement by Smallville, having them in. Well done, Jeff Johns. He did it justice. He knows all about them. It was great in Smallville. We want to see that in the DCEU, and I'm sure we will. Dewan Cartry, I think after the mishap with Zack Snyder, DC is allowing the directors to have foremost control over their movies, which is a good thing for us fans. Well, for example, someone like Matt Reeves is an auteur. He needs absolute control. Now, someone like Andy Muschietti is willing to work with WB, with Anne and Walter and Jim. You know, so you can have the directors who work with the studio, and you can have the directors with their own vision. I think it's about compromise and everyone working together instead of working against each other. Zack Snyder was working against the studio and people who wanted different things. Jeff Johns trying to protect, DC because he lives and breathes DC. That's what the problem was there. And it is good for us fans, you're right. Terry Young, what can you say about Jeffrey Wright's portrayal of Jim Gordon? Really looking forward to seeing his performance. Jeffrey Wright, Jeff is amazing in everything he does, and he's amazing in this film. Again, even though this is a Jim Gordon of color, that makes no difference. This feels more like the Jim Gordon I've read in the comics all my life than any other live action. And I mean, I love the Gotham TV series. That was a great Jim Gordon as well. Joshua Elrod, is the Batman on the same level as the Dark Knight? Will it be memorable? How is the score as well? Listen, I'm gonna say something very controversial. I think the Dark Knight is an okay film. It's not my favorite from Nolan. Batman Begins is my favorite, and I think that the Batman beats the living shit out of the Dark Knight. I think the Dark Knight is overrated, and people fell in love with it a bit too much because the main villain actor died in real life. I'm going to say the truth there. Yeah, the Batman is a much better movie. This is a Batman movie. One of the things I resent about The Dark Knight, because it was all about the Joker and Ledger rather than my man, Christian Bale, who delivered such a fabulous performance in Batman Begins. Just my opinion, of course. So where are we? Pac-Man, who would be the Superman in the Reeves verse? Well, I've got two theories. Either it's going to be Tanashi Coates and J.J. Abrams' Superman of color, or he's going to write and direct his own Superman and movie. Let's have unknowns, though. Superman must be played by an unknown. That's my opinion. Ronnie Dodge, I saw some people saying the Flash suit looks cheap because being comic book accurate is a bad thing. I mean, hello, yellow lighting, glad we had that now. Listen, people talk a load of shit. How can something if it wasn't comic book accurate, they would be slaughtering it. It looks like it can survive in speed, like Zack's does. But, those people saying that, are the Snyder propaganda merchants. We know that. It's a brilliant looking suit. It's awesome. And I think it's amazing. And I can't wait to see Grant Gusting's Flash, reaction to that costume as well. That's going to be exciting. Hishami Kasi, one of my gripes with The Dark Knight Rises was the big convoluted third act. Do you think the third act of the Batman falls into the same trap? No, because what he does with this film, each act is an episode. It's like an episode of a streaming series. So you get the first act right, but the next act, the second act, clicks in, and then the third act clicks in. It all kind of flips from one bit to the other. but it's just one story in a way. So no, I mean, I love The Dark Knight Rises and I love The Dark Knight and I love Batman Begins. I just think the Batman is better than The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. And the difference is with the Batman, the writer director of the Batman is actually a DC and a Batman fan. Christopher Nolan isn't. That's the difference. How he got involved with Batman in the first place is amazing to me. Anyway, Dwan Kutry, what's the update with the Valzord series? Is Michael B. Jordan Valzord or Kal-El? Right. The Valzord series, I think Kal-El will cameo in that, by the way. But yeah, because apparently one of the comics, Kal-El is actually, he fights Valzord. Michael B. Jordan is producing this project. We don't know he's playing Valzord, but it's definitely a Valzord-centric story. It's his story. And I've read on this channel all about Valzord. I actually think he's got a more interesting backstory than Kal-El. So I'm very excited for that one. Danny Ali, do you think WB will campaign Batman is do you think WB will campaign Batman is a similar way to Joker in terms of Oscar nominations? Yes, I think they're going to go all in for Oscars because I think the Batman is a similar entity to the Joker. Back, and I can't wait to see Matt Reeves directing a prime Batman. Joshua Elrod, what previous Batman would you compare the Batman's pacing to? It's like no other Batman film. You can't compare it to anything comic book we've seen. It's totally different. Ryan Price, will you be seeing Batman again come launch? Yes. Yes, I'm planning to see as many times as possible. I'm supporting every DC movie, whether I see test screenings of them or not. I'll go and see these movies multiple times, and that's what being a fan is all about. Ronnie Dodge, that will be so funny seeing Grant Barry reacting to that new suit. It's going to be awesome. He's had a few new suits in his time as well, hasn't he? Ahmed Hikal, do you like how the Flash runs in Zack Snyder's Justice League? I know a lot of people have got issues because he goes like that. No, I'm okay with it. It's just Ezra's running style or how Zack wanted him to run. Ahmed Hikal, do you like how the Flash run? No, I've read that. King Cumber 3R. I've heard there's a big twist reveal in the film. Without spoiling, did this reveal shock you? Yes, to my very, very core. It is an absolutely shocking film with many, many shocking twists and turns. But the final shock and twist, I mean, I'm not normally shocked. I normally can predict reveals in storytelling, but this really was shocking. And you leave the cinema just kind of talking to people and saying, what could possibly happen next? So that's awesome. Zach, how brutal are the fight scenes in the Batman? Very, very brutal. In fact, the fight scene you've seen when he beats people at the train station, right? Who are you supposed to be? There's even more brutal fights than that. Indigo Butter, are you going to watch Black Adam before like the Bat? Are you going to watch Black Adam before like with the Batman? Well, I certainly apply. It doesn't mean I will be able to, but it's worth a try, right? Baconator, do you think the TV spot is showing too much about the Batman movie? No, because anything they're showing you is nothing compared to the actual film. Ronnie Dodge, I think that the shot of Barry having the lenses coming down something is going down in that scene for sure. There's about to be a fight, isn't there? Ahmad Hikal, when will be the first trailer for the Flash movie? I think once Black Adam is in cinemas, it may even be attached to Black Adam, the next trailer or the first full trailer, because we're not, you got to let every film breathe. You've got 4 movies out, let each movie have its marketing breathe, then you can start promoting the next film. Ronnie Dodge, I think the Flash will break me, especially when Barry says goodbye to his mum. It's going to be a very poignant, emotional tale. Despite all the DC characters, this is Ezra Miller's, Barry Allen's, The Flash's story and movie, and no propaganda merchant can change that. Ryan Price, how good is the Batmobile and how much of it do we see? Yeah, we see, you see it. You see it in its glory. It's amazing. It's a very different Batmobile, but this is just Batmobile 1. Just take a think about that for a minute. Joshua Elrod, I thought the Batman, the Dark Knight score is the best. What's my best? I actually like what Hans Zimmer did with Batman versus Superman, but the Batman score is it's very different to anything I've ever heard, and it's absolutely stunning. Artisan, the Heroes DC trailer brought my hype up so much more. Yep. Balconator, what is your favorite DC animated movie? Oh, I like Superman versus the Elite. I think it's a great story, and it really examines Superman's no-kill policy. And I just love how Superman makes people think he's willing to kill, but it's all a trick. Superman doesn't kill, and that's a very important element of his character, and it's really kind of analyzed in that movie, and I love that animated movie for doing that. Obviously, it's a comic book story first and foremost. Ronnie Dodge, or it could be the shot before he runs and saves the babies in that concept art. Good point. King Cumber 3, do you think this Batman series could start a new cinematic universe on Earth too? That's the plan as far as I know, and that's very exciting, isn't it? Ahmed Hikal, what are the most DC movie you're excited about other than Batman? Look, for me, I'm excited for them all, but the Flash movie is huge for the franchise because it changes everything forever and it sets the franchise on a new course. So for me, it's always been about the Flash. Danny Alley, you think Keaton Batman will be the same as the Burtonverse or a different version since Keaton's Batman did kill Lowell? I think it's a different version. I think it's a different version of the Batman we're introduced to or reintroduced to in the Flash movie. That's just my theory. Right, because Flashpoint changes that. I think that's what happens there, yeah? Ronnie Dodge, I saying this is when that Flash trailer drops because we'll be so pumped, even the naysayers. Terry Young, what are some of your favorite Batman comics, graphic novels? Oh, whoa, there's so many great Batman graphic novels, isn't there? There's just, I mean, I like darker ones. I think the Dark Knight Returns is what I think that's one that people really love, isn't it? But there's so many great graphic novels, and the darker they are, the better for Batman. I like the ones when he's kind of really a detective and he's that Sherlock Holmes inspiration. Joshua Elder, I'm so hyped for the Batman. Hoping this won't be a bad film. Personally, I left the theaters after watching No Way Home. Disappointed while there was good fan service, the plot was simple. A very simple plot, that's for sure, yeah. But it was an enjoyable movie. It did what it was supposed to do. Ahmed Hikal, do you think having a reverse Flash as a main villain in Flashpoint storyline? I don't... look, I think there's more to it than that. I think the reverse Flash will be a twist of the movie rather than the main villain. Ronnie Dodge, the Flash will change the DCEU forever. That's a fact. It will. Harris Selick, thoughts on the new Flash costume? Harris, it looks absolutely stunning and I love it. Danny Alley, we need a comic accurate Constantine on the big screen. One of Fave DC characters. But you know what? I thought that the Constantine television series with Matt Ryan was as accurate as you can get. I thought that was a brilliant take. Never been a fan on Keanu Reeves' take, but I thought I think the one that Ryan did, the TV series, I thought that was amazing. Baconator, to be honest, I think No Way Home is hype because of nostalgia. Yes, and that's how it made money. Joshua Elrod, how is the Riddler's performance? Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I really want to see the actor be nominated for every award possible. This is a new version of the Riddler. It's a Riddler we've never seen before. You know, how he dresses, the way he conducts himself. He's very different, but it's an awesome performance. Joshua read that. Duane Cartry, why WB is not allowing Henry Cavill to come back? He's told the comics his main villain could be what? I think. Hang on. He's told. Let me start again. Why WB is not allowing Henry Cavill to come back? He's told that he wants to make a return. What's the caveat? Well, as far as we know, he could be coming back in the Flash movie. He may not come back. He may be getting his own movies. Nobody knows what's going on with Cavill. If I was to guess, I would guess we're getting a brand new Superman in the DCEU. Ronnie Dodge, I think the other Barry could be Reverse Flash in disguise. Agreed. As in the comics, he has made himself to look like Barry. but the main villain could be time itself. I think that's an accurate kind of assessment of what could be going on in that film. And I think Reverse Flash will be a shock element at the ending of the movie. I think they're setting Reverse Flash up, aren't they, in the Flash movie, rather than making him the main villain. Ryan Price, how does this version of Penguin compare to Danny DeVito? Iconic performance. Does he have a huge role, or is he more of a supporting villain? He's more of a supporting villain in this movie, but there are obviously very exciting moments in the film. This is a very different Penguin to DeVito's Penguin. You know, this is at the beginning. He's a bit of a gangster, but you do actually get to learn a little bit about him as well, as you do with all the Rogues Gallery. So he's very different to DeVito's and Burton's version. Hisham Kashi, like you, my favorite Batman movie from the Dark Knight trilogy is Batman Begins. The fact that you rank the Batman higher than Begins only goes to show how good of a storyteller Matt Reeves is. Yeah, Batman Begins, I think, is a great achievement by Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale. It really worked for me. And kind of sadly, that film doesn't, The Dark Knight doesn't feel like a continuation of Batman Begins in different ways. I know that sounds weird, and I was kind of disappointed about that. So I definitely think the Batman is definitely the better movie, but Batman Begins was a great achievement. Joshua Elrod, I'm hoping we get to see other villains in the movies to come, like Mr. Freeze. Daniel Ali, can't wait to see the Batman so that I'm as excited for the future of DCEU as you. Zach, is Matt Reeves' Gotham your favorite in live action? Yes, and I'll tell you why, and I'll repeat myself. It's brilliant because it feels like Gotham City for the first time. It feels like a frightening, scary fucking place that you wouldn't want to walk alone in. And we've never really had that before. It's all right telling me that Gotham is scary, but if it doesn't seem scary, if it doesn't feel scary, then it's not scary. Is it now? Joshua Elrod, I'm hoping we get to see other villains in the movies too. Come like Mr. Freeze. Danny Alley, can't wait to see the Batman. I'm so excited for the future of DC. I've read that. Zach, Ahmad Hikel, do you like the director of the Flash movie? I like him very much. Andy Muschietti has, conducted himself in a perfect way, and I'm very excited to see his movie. John, what is your least favorite DCEU movie? Well, it's either Wonder Woman 84 or Birds of Prey. I think both those movies are a flagship for hatred against men. I don't like hatred of people in storytelling. I don't like propaganda against people in storytelling. It's boring. These movies should be fun. These films should be telling a fictional, compelling story. And they betrayed everything in Wonder Woman 84 that Zack had set up in the first movie to make it a great movie, and that's a shame. Dewan Kutry, don't you wonder sometimes that most of the Marvel characters are straight rip off of DC characters, but their fans won't admit that? No, their fans won't admit anything. Marvel's done Spies, it's done everything before anyone else. Of course, that's not true. Ryan Price, do we learn more about the Batcave and are bats utilized in this movie? How they were in Batman Begins? We do learn about the Batcave. That's one thing I can tell you out of your question. It's an interesting version of the Batcave. That's all I'm going to say. Rather different. Joshua Elrod, is the Batman more of a thriller, a thriller movie or horror? Actually, it's partly a thriller. It's partly a horror movie. Actually, it's a bit of both. That's what I like about it. It has a variety and balance. So there's a lot of thriller going on. There's a lot, and it is kind of frightening at times as well, which is pretty cool. And none of that you haven't seen that in the trailers or the TV spots, and they've done very, very well to hide that. Just seeing where I was. So on to the next article, I think. Now we're going to talk about Jason Momoa's Joshua Elrod. That sounds awesome, bro. Yes, awesome will be my description, beyond awesome. Aquaman 2 video shows Jason Momoa. Wow, I've been on air that long, have I? Wow, it's been a great little stream, hasn't it? Aquaman 2, Jason Momoa shows off new costume. Aquaman 2 video shows Jason Momoa's 2 costumes. A brand new DC 2022 movie slate trailer debuts Arthur Curry's Jason Momoa, 2 new costumes for James Wan's Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom by Anna Damarog of Screen Rant. Dewan Khatri, is the Batman an action-packed or detective part of Batman, or is it a mix of both? It's a mix of both. Ronnie Dodge, I'm off, mate. See you later. Thank you for joining in, Ronnie, as ever. Balconated, just be hearing the Riddler's theme. You can easily tell it's going to be disturbing, extremely disturbing. Ryan Price, how well will this movie do, knowing kids under 15 in the UK won't be able to see it on the big screen? Do you really think kids are not going to creep in there and watch that movie? Joshua Elrod, do you think the Batman will be considered a top 10 film of all time? I think so. I think people are going to adore this movie. It's something that this is a very historical moment in comic book adaptations for movies, in DC live action. This is a Superman the movie moment when a movie of an iconic character comes out and people say, this is my version for eternity, which is going to piss off anyone else who ever works on Batman again. Harris Selling, what do you think about Amber Heard not being fired? Well, you can't fire her for something she hasn't done on a project. But then you could say, why was Johnny Depp fired? Because in a court of law, he was found to be a woman beater or a wife beater, right? So you can't have someone like that working there. Now, Amber Heard, you know, she hasn't been proven in a court of law to do anything wrong, to break the law. And that's why she still has a job. And that's why you can't fire her. So I'm not that offended by her not being fired. She's not a big deal to me. She's an okay mirror, and it really doesn't bother me. A new DC trailer offers fans the first look at Arthur Curry's Jason Momoa 2 suits in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Following their first successful team-up for 2018's Aquaman, the actor is reunited with director James Wan for the sequel set to release in December 2022. The blockbuster tackles Arthur's journey as he officially becomes the King of Atlantis. Principal photography for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom started in June 2021 and ended earlier this year. This gives Wan and his team enough time to polish the flick as it enters its post-production stage. Specific plot details are still scanned at the moment, but a behind-the-scenes trailer released during DC Fandom 2021 gave fans an idea of what to expect from the sequel. Now, however, Warner Brothers is sharing official footage from the movie focusing on its titular character as he learns how to rule Atlantis while also maintaining his connection with human beings. Joshua Elrod, do you think they set up Catwoman to be in the second movie? Yes, definitely. Balconator, does the Batman show some comedic scenes? Not many, but they're there. You've even seen some of them in the TV spots. Dewan Khatri, will you do these lives daily? I will try. I'm living with my sister right now. I'm hoping to return to Cyprus soon, but I will be trying to do these lives as often as possible because it looks like even at least 20 of you now and again do seem to enjoy them. The conversation's flowing, which is also a good signifier. So, yeah, I will be looking to be doing these lives as often as possible. Principal photography for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom started in June 21 and ended earlier this year. This gives Wan and his team enough time to polish the flick. We've already read that. Among Warner Brothers' collective trailer for their DC 2022 movie slate is a snippet of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom released ahead of Super Bowl LVI. The video clocks in around 1 minute long and features all the heroes fronting their own movies this year. For Momoa and Wan's film, it reveals Arthur's 2 suits. He wears one as he goes through his adventures, while the other one as he sits on the Atlantean throne. Watch the footage below. We're not going to do that. We've already seen it. Baconator, have you read the Batman prequel novel? I've read some of it, and it's very, very interesting, especially the stuff about LexCorp and Metropolis. That just confirms what I was predicting all along that this is not just about Batman. This is about fleshing out and molding the clay of a brand new DC universe. Hisham Cassie, one of the things that I love from Batman Begins is the score from James Newton Howard and not from his Hans Zimmer and not from Hans Zimmer. Do you think Giacchino, well, you mean Giacchino? Oh, yes. Do you think Giacchino captures the same nuance in the Batman? He does, but in a very different way. It makes sense that Arthur will have two suits in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, since his story will also have two aspects as the new official ruler of Atlantis. It's safe to assume that the film will see him carrying out royal duties the same way Orm Patrick Wilson did in the first film. Perhaps it might even involve dealing with politics as he still established himself as the new king. But spending the rest of the narrative with him in Atlantis would be too boring. So instead, he also goes on an adventure where he would need a separate battle costume, which is more likely than the navy blue suit that he's sporting in the aforementioned clip. Yeah, that's a good point. He's probably going to be the king, and then obviously it's a bit like Indiana Jones. He's wearing a suit when he's teaching, and then he's got the hat and the fedora and the whip on and everything, isn't he? When he's on an adventure. So that's a very good point. Danny Ali, do you think there will final trailer for the Batman? I don't know. I think maybe. Ryan Price, I hear Batman has a more realistic Batwing suit rather than his cape unrealistically being used. If so, does this work for the movie? Well, yeah, very well. Matt Reeves has got a good handle on everything in this movie. It's something he was thinking about in pre-production for a long time. Deny Ali, your thoughts on the leaked set pics of the Batman showing a Superman costume? I can't tell you my thoughts on that. All I'm going to tell you about what you see in the Batman, he's setting up an entire DC universe. He's setting up a whole Earth too. He's molding the clay of this brand new Earth. And, you know, he's going to tease some elements of that Earth in this film. Joshua Elrod, does anyone die in the Batman? No comment. Dewan Cartry, is the Batman releasing in China as it is a very big market? It's interesting. I have no idea what China find acceptable and unacceptable. I hope so for the sake of the box office at the very least. Suffice to say, there's a massive pressure for Warren and Momoa to deliver on Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom again. Aquaman remains to be the highest grossing DC film of all time. And despite some of its flaws, what flaws? It's universally loved. It's also the only sequel in DC 2022's movie slate. So if the follow-up film can't top its predecessor, the least it can do is be on par with the original flick. Anything less than that could unfortunately be disappointing for fans. Listen, it's about the movie, not the box office. It just needs to make enough so they can keep on making more DCEU movies and more Aquaman. So very excited about that movie, as I am all the movies. They look amazing. They sound amazing the way the directors and everyone's hyping them up. As I say, it's a very exciting time to be a DC fan, unless you're not a DC fan. You know what I mean? Right now, on your comments, just checking. I'll have to sign off very shortly. Terry Young, how soon after the Batman release do you think we'll get more details on the HBO Max spin-offs? Well, I've said it on this channel before. I think the spin-offs will happen in a yearly fashion. So I think the Batman this year, Gotham PD next year, and maybe the Penguin prequel the year after. But I'm sure there'll be more information about Matt Reeves when he's ready to spell it. Shouldn't be long, though. Shouldn't be long because he knows exactly what his plans are. It wouldn't surprise me if we get even more announcements of more spin-offs. And who knows what's going to be announced. So watch this space. Baconator, will the Batman release on March the 4th around the world? I heard it will be out on March the 2nd here in the Philippines. I'm not sure if it's true, though. Well, we know there's a premiere on March the 1st. I think probably it'll be everywhere from March the 4th. I think it's one of those movies that will be watched by everyone at the same time. Zach, what are the detective scenes like in this Batman? Well, it's like what Matt Reeves said. normally when he's at the scene of the crime, he's fighting people. But in this movie, he's standing around police. He's discussing the evidence. They're using him as a detective. They're using him for help because they are clueless and they're so desperate that they need the help of a very intelligent vigilante. DCEU 2022 trailer reveals new footage of 4 DC movies. As promised by Dwayne Johnson, a brand new DC films trailer is released, offering fans a fresh look at Warner Brothers' 2022 superhero movie slate by Anna Dumarog of Screen Rant. Disinfo. Spin-offs Rogues universe not going to be the same quality as the main movies. They will be even better. Ryan Price, there's no reason to think they're not going to be of the same quality. That doesn't make sense. Ryan Price, the trailers we have seen for Batman have some incredible soundtracks. Do we hear a lot of these in the movie, or were they more for promotional purposes? As far as I know, everything you're seeing in the promotional elements will be in the movie as well. I haven't heard anything where I said, well, that's not in the movie. Joshua Elwood, what's your top 3 fave movies of all time? For what they mean to me, Superman the movie, JFK directed by Oliver Stone, and Star Wars A New Hope. But there's probably films I'm not even thinking of right now that may even mean more to me than them. But those films came at me at right times to have a great influence on me as well. Danny Alley, does Pattinson have more screen time in the Batsuit or without? Does Pattinson have more screen time in the Batsuit or without? I think it's very, very equal, to be honest with you. I don't think he has more in it or more without it. I think that what Reeves has done here, because the film is just under 3 hours, he's given, Robert that kind of time to breathe within the costume and it's outside of the costume. And that's a very interesting thing he did within the movie. Dewan Cartry, how much time does Carmine Falcone is in for? Well, I don't know exactly how many minutes exactly he's in. He's around in certain times, but he's kind of in the background. He's what kind of character he is. He's a string puller. So yeah, but yeah, he's not in every scene or anything. The movie isn't just about him. It's not really about any of the Rogues Gallery in particular. Obviously, the Riddler is the main one. It's focusing on what he's doing and the clues he's throwing at the Batman, but the other ones are more smaller roles. Harris Selick, what is your favorite live action Batman suit? That's interesting. I think Batflex suit is the best, if you ask me. I'm not counting the Batman costume because that hasn't been released yet. Joshua Elwood, where does the Batman rank on your all-time fave movie list? Again, it's very, very difficult, isn't it? I mean, what do I do? Put it at the very top because it's the next movie. That's not fair. Listen, it's a very good movie. And when everything settles down, we will do a ranking on this channel. A brand new DC trailer has been released ahead of Super Bowl LVI, showing footage from The Flash, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, The Batman, and Black Adam. Warner Brothers has a slow superhero year in 2021, only rolling out James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which was also simultaneously dropped on HBO Max in 2022. However, it's ramping up its blockbuster production with 5 highly anticipated flicks on the docket. DC will open 2022 with the much anticipated The Batman. Actually, they've already opened 2022 with Peacemaker, which will hit theaters on March the 4th. Directed by Matt Reeves, it will introduce Robert Pattinson as the next Caped Crusader. After Ben Affleck left the franchise, it's followed by the animated film DC's League of Super Pets on May the 20th. From there, 3 DCEU movies will hit theaters. Dwayne Johnson's long-delayed Black Adam will see the debut of the Justice Society of America. Ezra Miller's The Flash will also bring back both Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck's versions of Batman, and Jason Momoa's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom caps off the year. DC fans have a lot of things to be excited about, And for those who couldn't wait any longer for their project, a brand new trailer has been released offering fresh footage from the blockbuster. As promised by Johnson, a new DC promotion shares public to what Warner Brothers has in store for its comic book movie. Followers, check out the video below. Aside from the Batman, all of these live action films exist in the DCEU. Today live stream was an awesome one, thank you. Glad people joined and shared their love for DC, so am I. Ryan Price, does Batman want to kill the Riddler or simply bring him down? Well, it's a very, very complicated cat and mouse relationship. It's not a villain versus hero story. This is someone who, in a way, despite him doing wrong, is also helping the Batman solve a huge mystery. Joshua Elwood, I want to marry Zoe Kravitz. She's so sexy. I'm not going to say the real word. She's a very attractive young woman, and that's all I'm going to say. After Affleck left the franchise, Reeves decided to reboot the character and then introduce a younger version of the Caped Crusader. Despite that, there's still a good chance that Pattinson's Dark Knight interacts with characters from the main Warner Brothers DC franchise. Thanks to its burgeoning multiverse, The Flash actually delves deep into this idea, as Keaton's Batman mentions in the trailer. Barry Allen is choosing a specific timeline to save, which means there are several more in existence within the multiverse, and it looks like Michael Keaton's Batman already knows of their existence. Both Black Adam and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom may not have something to do with this new concept. I think they do, but their respective stories are interesting on their own. Looking at the bigger picture, Warner Brothers has a diverse selection of films for its viewers in 2022 with The Flash, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, The Batman and Black Adam. This is their biggest advantage against Marvel Studios, as well as all three MCU films are sequels with more variations in their offerings. DC can appeal to a wider audience. Aside from that, the fact that they're bringing back Keaton as Batman can entice older fans of The Dark Knight who haven't been keeping tabs back into the DCEU, and that's a very, very good point, isn't it? Dwan Khatri, see you tomorrow, man. Good night, love from India. Yeah, send my love to India. Holman Skinner, the Riddler is a terrorist and is not trying to help Batman. This is what the elites do. Put their stuff in movies and see which strategy works to strike. Well, that's not the case, Holman Skinner. He's more than that. Yes, listen, he is still helping the Batman. Yes, he's acting like a terrorist. Yes, he's killing people. But this is what I've spoken about on my videos before. Each person has a reason for doing the things they do, and labeling them as one thing or the other creates the problem in our society. Are you perfect? Have you never had impure thoughts? Haven't you ever done anything bad in your life? Would you like to be labeled? No. Without the Riddler, the Batman can't solve this mystery. So he's doing all these things for the same reason Batman is. The thing is, the Riddler is going about these things the wrong way. So he's not simply a terrorist, Holman Skinner. Joshua Elrod, if I were Robert Pattinson, I'd be trying to... Oh, it's gone. Oh, dear, Joshua, I think we're going to have to hide some of your stuff. I think you're getting a bit excited, mate. Ryan Price, I have to ask again after the last one making me laugh. Does Catwoman get bat diggers? Joshua Elrod, tell her I love her, Cat. Did you get satisfied with the new Flash footage in the DC teaser, or did you want more like me? Of course, I always want more, but I was certainly satisfied with what I saw. Ken Tobias, I think WEDC will be targeting 200 million US domestic opening, just seeing their marketing for DC movies this year. Yeah, they're going after it. They're going after it, and let's see if it is successful. I think it will be, and I hope it will be. Black Adam's origins teased in DCEU trailer. Black Adam's origin story is teased in a brand new DCEU trailer, promoting Dwayne Johnson's upcoming DC movie that releases this year by Andy's, whose surname I can never pronounce. Black Adam's origin story is teased in a brand new DCEU trailer promoting Dwayne Johnson's upcoming DC film. One of the long-awaited DC projects from Warner Bros. That is finally coming to theaters this year is Black Adam. Johnson, blah, 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 blah. While it remains to be seen if Johnson and Zachary Levi Shazam will ever come face to face, general moviegoers will get a proper introduction to Black Adam later this year as the story focuses on how he becomes a DC legend. The project will also mark as the official DCU introduction for the Justice Society of America. Throughout Black Adam, the Golden Age heroes will serve as rivals to the anti-hero, while the CW Stargirl has focused on the younger generation. The DCEU team will explore some of the original members, including Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher. Eric Toro, Dr. Fate looks amazing. Yes, I'm very, very happy with Dr. Fate. Joshua Elwood, sorry, man, I just love mixed women like her. Don't we all? Terry Young, this version of the Riddler shows monsters aren't born. They are created, much like Joker. Yeah, you see, it's interesting. Do you see the Riddler? Do you see this Riddler as a monster? After all, he's trying to clean up Gotham like Batman is. He's just going around about it the wrong way. Yeah. But yes, obviously monsters are created, but is he a monster? Are we monsters who are just living with our eyes in our phones all day and not helping each other and not helping people, begging for our help, just worried about ourselves and our families and the people that we know? Are we the monster? Who is one? Who has the right to deem another person as a monster? Hisham Casey, I have a feeling Batman and Riddler are sort of related in the Batman. I have something in my eye. As Warner Bros. Has a packed lineup for their DC films this year, the studio revealed a new trailer that promotes Black Adam, The Flash, The Batman, and Aquaman 2. The teaser also provides a closer look at Black Adam's origin story, showing Johnson's character going through pain before getting his powers. Check out the new trailer below. Like a lot of DC Comics characters, Black Adam has had his backstory retold since his debut in 1945. Johnson has in the past interviews talked about how Black Adam will explore the character's days as a slave of conduct before being granted godlike powers. What sets him on a path to become an anti-hero rather than a traditional supervillain is going after those who mistreated and abused him. While the latest promo gave a taste of Black Adam's darker days, it will be intriguing to see how much else is shown in future trailers. So far, Warner Bros. Is being very careful with what they are showing from Black Adam while still building up a lot of hype around it. Given how long they have been working on bringing the character to life, it definitely feels like this will be an essential installment for the DCEU's future. With someone of Johnson's caliber, the franchise will be getting a massive addition with Black Adam. Since Black Adam is also introducing the Justice Society, it wouldn't be shocking to see the Golden Age team go to more prominent places too. As Black Adam gets closer to arriving in theaters, Warner Bros. Will likely unveil at least one more trailer before then. Yeah, I mean, Black Adam hasn't really had a proper trailer yet. And it's interesting how The Flash, Black Adam, and Aquaman are not revealing too much. This means that maybe that these films have a lot to do with the multiverse strategy, and that's very exciting. Joshua Elwood, does Catwoman turn villain? Hisham Akashi, MOJ. Ryan Price, could Joker 2 bring in Patterson? Watch this space. That would be an exciting turn of events, wouldn't it? O'Shea Jackson, who co-starred in Straight Outta Compton with Black Adam actor Aldis Hodge, praises his friend's first appearance as Hawkman, and he does look awesome, doesn't he? So, yes, that's basically your updates for today. I think there's one more. Where are we? Eric Toro, Mick, do you think at any point in Matt's Batman trilogy will we see any other DC characters in those movies? Mick, do you think at any point in the Matt's Batman trilogy we will see any other DC characters in those movies? Yes, absolutely. I believe that with everything in my being, as I keep on saying, he's developing his own DC universe, and you will see some, what should I call them? Easter eggs in the Batman, giving hints to what he's planning in that new DC universe. Haris Selick, are you going to the fan first premiere? I wanted to go. I tried to go, but unfortunately, very popular event, sold out. So I won't be going. I'm going to be like everyone else, going to the local screenings around my area, and I'm very, very excited to do so. James Gunn confirms Peacemaker fan theory about Vigilante's mask. James Gunn confirms a Peacemaker fan theory about Vigilante's costume, saying the red visor on his mask is prescription similar to glasses. So that's very interesting. So let's see what James has got to say here about this. Yes, it's a prescription. That's all he says, actually. I thought he was going to give this long monologue, but yeah, it's a prescription. This is just another of the many quirks that have been added to this iteration of Adrian Chase that has been noted to be the most vastly different from any previous versions before him. Comic sources material live action, while previous versions have been portrayed as cold-blooded and even vicious killer, this new incarnation is a lot more playful and charges towards violence and even acts socially awkward towards other characters. Many audiences have taken a liking to these new traits, as it not only makes the character much more enjoyable, but also adds a layer of relatability with the awkwardness. It's interesting, isn't it? And with Vigilante, because normally we like our comic book characters to stay the same as they were in the comics. But here, Vigilante has been changed dramatically, and everyone's up. I think that's great. So I think that's great because people are loving Gunn's version of Vigilante. And as long as people are enjoying it, there's nothing wrong with that. And this is my final story for today. This is not DCEU related. God, we've been here for nearly 2 hours. That's mad, isn't it? It's been a big edition of the DCEU Daily. My God, my throat, my back's killing me. But I think I've done well, and I think I've kept you all entertained and answered everything you wanted to know. Hishimi Kasi, are you a fan of Batman Returns? The Batman feels like a tribute to Batman Returns in some ways. The Batman is nothing like Batman Returns, but I know what you're trying to say with all the different villains. I adore Batman Returns. Batman Returns is one of my favorite Batman films of all time. I prefer it to Batman 89. Batman Begins, prior to the Batman, and Batman Returns were my favorite two, equally my favorite two Batman movies of all time. Joshua, I think you need to get some. Forget about them getting some. Right, the final story of today. Kevin Smith wrote an unmade Plastic Man movie starring Jim Parsons. Now, for me, this sounds very interesting. Kevin Smith revealed he wrote a script for an unmade animated Plastic Man movie with the Big Bang Theory star Jim Parsons set to voice the title role. I would like to see this in live action, by the way. This is by Richard Fink of Screen Rant. Kevin Smith revealed he wrote a script for a Plastic Man animated project that would have starred a Big Bang Theory alumni. Smith was one of the breakout filmmakers of the independent film scene in the 1990s alongside Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez, and Spike Lee. Since the release of his debut film, Clerks, Smith has directed some cult classic projects like Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and many more. The director has also dabbled in comics as he wrote The Guardian Devil, Arc for Daredevil in 1999, and 15 issues of Green Arrow from 2001 and 2002. Ahmed Hiko, are you satisfied with the new footage of the Flash showed in the teaser, or do you want more like me? I'd love to see more, but I'm very satisfied. I swear I've already read that. Given his extensive comic book knowledge and the fact that many of his films include superhero references, Smith has been attached to a number of superhero projects. Most famously, he wrote a script for a failed Superman movie titled Superman Lives in 1990s, which he wanted to star future Batman actor Ben Affleck. He also attached to write and direct The Green Hornet for years, and recently was set to write a Howard the Duck animated series for Hulu that was scrapped. Howard the Duck was not the only animated project Smith was working on at the time. However, the director has now shared more details about another superhero he almost broke to the big screen. I was deep diving into one of my laptops looking for an old photo, and I found a script to Plastic Man that I wrote for a Plastic Man cartoon like 2 years ago or something like that. I completely fucking forgot about it, and they paid me to write it, and then they didn't do it. And it was with that's with his name from The Big Bang Theory. He was such a good dude, Jim Parsons. What a lovely dude. But he was gonna be the voice of Plastic Man. So I looked at the script and I was like, wow, man, they fucking pay me to write this, and it's never going to happen. Yeah, and that's like many projects in this industry, isn't it? Ryan Price, if you could sum up a Batman movie in one word: shocking. Shocking, shocking, shocking. It's been a great live video, everyone. I'm going to have to sign off for today. It's been really enjoyable. 18 likes. That's great because I've had at the most 20, 25 viewers on this live. So it's great. I really appreciate the support. It's been a great conversation today. Terry Young, if Reeves cast Robin, Dick Grayson in a future film, how old do you think the actor should be? I think, I mean, I'm not an expert on him. I think he definitely he has to be younger than Robert Pattinson, who's around 30, 33, right? So I would like to see him at least 20 years old, maybe even 18. So we can have the kind of younger and older, master versus apprentice kind of thing. That will be really cool. This has been the DCEU Daily Live. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And I'll see you again tomorrow with even more live footage and maybe even a pre-recorded video. Until then, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. I just remembered, actually, I'm going out for dinner for lunch tomorrow. So I don't know if I'm going to have time. We will see. But if I don't see you tomorrow, I will see you on Monday. Until then, goodbye. Shem Kasha, you're a great man. Keep these live videos coming. Thank you, I will. Harris, Selick, have a good one. You too, Harris. And I'll see you either tomorrow or Monday. Until then, goodbye.